Something invisible inside that only you can hide. It's Rhyme and Reason 869.
Here's your rhyme and reason. Oh, yeah.
Hey there, Tony here. I've got a scenario for you. If you could carry around something invisible that could almost immediately transport you across the world, you'd do it, right? Wouldn't you? Well, you got something like that, and you have a way to access it almost any time you like. Yeah, your phone or your tablet or your laptop gives you access to something invisible and magical, and you probably already use it like that in some way or another. But maybe not the way I'm thinking of right now, at least not as often as other ways, like videos or games or pictures. No, I'm talking about imagination. And it's better than all the video games, because with them, you can only do what someone else pre-programmed. But your imagination can take you to the edges of the universe, to the land of giants, and even down to the hidden wonders of the microscopic world. And now I'm kind of edging out of the adult-oriented kind of stuff and into the world that kids identify with more. For example, have you ever seen those stunning variety of colors and shapes and movements in a human eye, in your eyeball when it's viewed in photo magnification? Wow. There's a lot of intricate design contained in a little bitty space. And then there's the other end of the spectrum. Did you know there are 40,000 muscles in an elephant's trunk? Yeah, it's true. And an elephant can use its trunk to lift up to 770 pounds and crush large fruit. Plus, it can pick individual leaves off trees. Human engineers can only attempt copycat designs at best, no matter how many times they try. They can just make stuff that doesn't even come close to the elephant trunk. And it sparks my imagination to think about how all the big and tiny creatures could have come into existence as a result of some words, some spoken words, something else invisible and powerful. And sadly, most people believe it sounds too far-fetched. And on the flip side, it sounds too far-fetched to me to imagine it could have all merely big banged into existence. I'm glad that I can see the design and everything around me. I'm glad of that. And I'm glad the designer saw fit to give me imagination. And that's how I can write day after day and never use up all the words or numbers. Yeah, kind of like in the big time I had writing tiny time. Look under the leaves of the sunflower plant. Way back in the dirt, you'll see Arnold the ant. He works at his desk where he thinks up a rhyme and he writes it all down in his own tiny time. Now look over there in the bark of the tree. A beetle's as busy as beetles can be. He chews for a while and then starts to climb and keeps moving up in his own tiny time. Have you seen the tadpoles that live in the pond? They turn into frogs without using a wand. They take a deep breath and swim under the slime, and they only come up in their own tiny time. There's something invisible inside your head when you're awake or asleep in your bed. So small it can live in the sound of a chime. Your imagination in sweet, tiny time. Thank you so much for tuning into this little poetic endeavor on the idea of imagination and the subject of imagination. As always, your support is welcomed and appreciated more than you can possibly imagine. And if you would jump over there to tonyfunderburk.com/tinytime, you'll see down at the bottom there some ways that you can show your support. You can jump on the Rhyme and Reason bandwagon. You can, if you're not already subscribed to this podcast, you can do that. There are links for this stuff. You can even get digital Bible stuff from the same company I do, Logos. They're a wonderful company. The resources there, if you want to study your Bible more, are just super duper. You can also go to Amazon.com or Apple Books and buy my books. Yeah, I've written a bunch of those for kids and some for adults. You can even get yourself an uncool t-shirt. There's a link for that. And there's tons of music for believers, dreamers, and thinkers of all shapes and sizes right over there at tonyfunderburk.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, remember and never forget, life has rhyme and reason because God made you.
There's a rhyme